We start with our stories now, and we focus on education. The yet-to-be-absorbed community basic school at Kwame Nto in the Eastern Region lacks teachers. 2 teachers employed by the community are paid by parents, and residents want government to post teachers to the school. Evelyn Tingma was in the area and has come through with his report.
Farming is a common occupation in Kwame Nto, located in the Krapim South municipality of the Eastern Region. The community's 650 population is grappling with providing education for their wards. The community had no school until residents put up 4 classrooms for the only primary school. This is the Kwame Nto Preparatory School. We understand it was built some 10 years ago by community members, even though government came in last year to complete it. The community members employ their own teachers and pay them by themselves. But the question is, how long can this continue? Because the children here need to be taken care of by the state. After primary 4, people trek 2.5 kilometers to Abuadaka to continue school.
In the earth
This is class 1 and class 2 combined. Whatever class 1 pupils are learning, class 2 pupils also learn. But the pathetic thing is that they have no chairs. They have to sit on these few tables in their classroom. And I'm just wondering how writing is going to be done when they are given exercises. Though residents have put up 4 classrooms, the school has no teachers. The Ghana Education Service is there to absorb the school and provide support for it. The community therefore pays the only 2 untrained teachers they have employed.
We have only 2 teachers in the school. Now you can see the kids are playing in the classroom without no teacher teaching them. So we are appealing to government that he can come and help us for more teachers.
Classes 1 and 2 are combined and taught by 1 teacher, while kindergarten and class 4 pupils sit in the remaining 2 classes, with the other teacher moving from one class to the other to teach. For a greater portion of the day, pupils in kindergarten are left on their own. For these teachers, their whole day at school is spent without sitting. There are no chairs or tables in both the classrooms and the only office. Former assemblyman of the area, Alex Eshring, said several efforts to get the assembly to take over the school have not been successful.
We have been complaining to the assembly, and even the former DC, we have complained to him because he make the finishing of the school for us. So we complained to him that we don't have any teachers in the school, and he promised us that he can help to give us some of the teachers in the school. But as now, no, it hasn't become at all.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education said it has not received any letter from the district on a request by the community to take over the school.
This is the first time hearing about the school. If they don't have teachers, then it means the school might as well not be recognized by the Ghana Education Service, who is supposed to have posted teachers to the school. We have a unit that inspects private schools, and then they can request for the school to be absorbed into the public system, and that is a process. So it's up to them to apply, maybe through the district assembly to the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, and then we take it up from there.
The head of public relations at the ministry asked community members to put pressure on the Krapim South District Assembly to forward their request to the appropriate quarters.
2 other headline stories, and the Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Cephas Arthur, has been transferred from the police headquarters in the latest reshuffle within the police service, having served more than 6 years in that very capacity. SP Cephas Arthur becomes one of the longest-serving public affairs directors of the service. Cephas Arthur will now serve as a commander of the East Legon District Command. He will be replaced by Sheila Buckman as the new Director of Public Affairs. Now, ACP David Uklu has meanwhile been appointed as the Director General Public Affairs. A memo signed by the Inspector General of Police, David Asante-Pietu, indicated that a total of 38 senior police officers have been reassigned in the latest exercise. And the recent lynching of the late Major Maxwell Mahama by irate youth of Dencha Boise on suspicion that he was an armed robber has brought to the fore the need to tackle serious action to deal with the menace among Ghanaians. Now, there were other cases of lynching experienced in some parts of the country after Major, that's the late Major's incident, and former Minister of Communications, Dr. Edward Imani, has called for the law to be enacted by Parliament in dealing with mob action in the country. This, he believes, will reduce drastically, if not end, incidences of mob action in the country. But what role can religious leaders play in educating the public and congregants as well in the country on what is touted as religious in our country? Now, Ghana is known as to be a religious country, and this afternoon I have been joined in the studio by Sheikh Ayub. He's the National President, Society of Muslim Preachers. Hello, Sheikh. Thanks for agreeing to speak with us this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Now, like I mentioned earlier on, Ghana is said to be a religious country,
True.
but do we see that happening in recent times, looking at what we have recorded so far, especially regarding mob actions in the country?
Well, we fail in partially. We can see that there's a problem, but we cannot deny the fact that Ghana is a religious country. I see this because we believe in our forefathers, those who are not Christians and Muslims of old, though Islam has been with Ghana since the onset of the nation establishment. But we know for sure Ghanaians by nature, we love God, and apart from that, we are lenient. We love one another, but there's a change, and that is what we should fight against.
Have we become a lot more violent?
Yeah, this is what we're seeing, and we are trying to just overlook it. That the situation is telling us that, and that every Ghanaian can say that this has not been our character. As Ghanaians, we are special people. We have a character that we can say that we can boast of. That, but now, things going on, and people are just, even when somebody is suffering, in today's Ghana, somebody will not turn. I was being told by a young man that on our road, when even this thief come around and snatch away your mobile, nobody will talk. Nobody comes to your aid. You get me clear? So, and that has been the situation, meaning we are not one another's keeper.
And what has changed?
Yes, that is the message should still go on at in our homes and everywhere, and in our schools. We have to be telling people what is good and righteous and morals. We have to intensify that. And if you understand who you are as a human being, like you said, a Muslim, if accidentally, you read Quran chapter 4 and from verse 80 going, if accidentally, and to be precise in verse 90, God says that if you accidentally kill somebody, you pay the blood money. Accidentally, not intentionally. And so if you kill an innocent person through this mob action, as we've seen, it's been with us for a time. You have to be honest. But I can say over 10 years ago, some of us have witnessed, you see that when somebody is said to be a thief, you rush on the person, kill him. How many innocent people have we killed? We believe that this, the Major's incident will be salvation for Ghana. And we are going to talk. I believe religious people should speak, teachers should talk about it. Children should be taught that you don't attack somebody you don't know. Even if people call for that, you have to. Recently, let me say this, at my area in Achimota, in the night, we hear a thief. You can't do that. And the people were accusing him, he has saved somebody. The next morning, we got to know clearly that was an innocent young man walking. They will have lynched him, right?
Sheikh, let me just hold you there and go on onto the phone line and speak with Apostle Sam Mele. He's a General Secretary, Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. Good afternoon, Apostle, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Wendy. I trust that you are all doing fine.
Very well, thank you, Apostle. Apostle, this afternoon I have been speaking with Sheikh on our religious values, as we're always been told that Ghana is a religious country. But in the light of what we have seen so far, especially on mob action, Sheikh believes that something has definitely gone wrong. Are you in agreement to that?
Well, let me greet all our listeners and viewers, and also extend a special greeting to my friend Sheikh. I believe that our society is losing some of its vital values. I agree with him. We are a nation that has been known to love peace. We are a nation that has been known to love and demonstrate help to strangers. But currently, if you watch what is going on, the violence that is emanating in our society, which we have had cause to speak to, even on the GPCC and the Christian Council on the 6th of June, issued a statement in that respect. That it is becoming the increasing culture of violence. You know, it's permeating every society, and we seem to be losing this value of being a peaceful people. Ghanaians are known to be a peaceful people. We can't say that in view of the things that are going on. So I tend to agree with Sheikh that we are losing some of our very high moral values.
And Apostle, in agreeing with what Sheikh said, yes, you have admitted that we're losing some of our moral values, but what exactly is the problem? How did we get here?
Personally, I've always thought that we took upon ourselves certain things along the way. We started to lose respect for our leaders. I'm sorry to it may sound a bit political, but in the time when we went on this, the latest revolution, we started to lose respect for our leaders. It was a time when people would just accuse any person who they think was doing well, and that person became a suspect. It was time when workers, were demanding too much and thought that they were being cheated by people in management, and therefore demanded that, no, we should sit on management boards. And you see, all this started eroding, and people started losing respect for chiefs. They would, those of us, young, all of us got involved, in defense committees and speaking against chiefs, insulting pastors, and all that. So gradually was an erosion of our respect that we had for authority. And with all that, the beating of people and all that, slowly we were showing us that we didn't know that time. And it's unfortunate that now it's grown and it's caught up with us.
All right, Apostle, before I let you go, sorry for rudely cutting you there. Quickly, what do we do? How do we mend this problem or change the situation?
I think the most important point. We, as the two councils, I told you on the 6th, issued a statement, and we made certain recommendations to, first of all, ourselves as church and to the nation. And quickly, let me inform you some of that we as pastors should take in the moral formation of the people who come to our house, a national orientation program to underpin the core values which we cherish as a nation, and then pledged our support to that. Somehow to the security agencies who have to be given the necessary resources and to facilitate their work, and then we ask them to act with dispatch. You see, whenever there are cases of such violence and the rest.
Okay.
Those are some of the things that we
All right.
We brought forward.
Thank you so much, Apostle Samuel Yao-Ng. He's the General Secretary, Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. Now, I come back to the studio and let me wrap up with you, that's Sheikh Ayub Ofosuhene. What do we do? You've heard Apostle from his point of view. Do you think that we should go by what he's saying?
Exactly. This is something I would have even said. You see, we have to educate our people, and it seems I said it earlier. You see, Ghanaians, we're losing it, and we have to do everything that we can. And even if I heard you when we were reading the news, you said that a politician has called for a parliament to enact a law, and I believe so. We have to educate our people. They should know the importance of a human being. Every citizen in Ghana should know who is a human being. God created that He loves us, and we should love one another, sharing innocent blood. If you're a believer, a Christian, a Muslim, you account for that in the next world.
Well, so thank you so much, Sheikh Ayub Ofosuhene Asare. We've been looking this afternoon at mob injustice and what our religious leaders can do to help curb this canker. You're still watching Midday Live. Ahead of the start of farming season in northern parts of Ghana, inadequate tractors for women farmers is a major challenge. Eva Atibuka reports the female farmers are struggling to get tractors to plow their lands, and they claim that they do not benefit from government's assistance for farming.
20% of farmers in Ghana are women, contributing significantly to the nation's food basket. However, in the agriculture value chain, women face all forms of discrimination.
How to acquire fertile land is a problem. When the women want to acquire land, they will give them the poorest land. If they see that the woman harvested a lot, they will just seize the land from her.
This is made clearer when at a Sada Mofa Army Force sensitization workshop, only 2 women attended. The 2 women raised concerns, drawing the attention of program organizers.
Very unfortunate that we had just 2 women participating in this all-important meeting, because here in the region, majority of the women are involved in farming. This is just one sector of the meeting that we've held. The number for women will increase.
The rains have started in the northern parts of the country, and farming is about to start. But women have a challenge getting tractors to plow lands. Poriku Mary is a nucleus farmer and has 122 female and 20 male farmers under her in Lambuzie district. Over the years, access to tractor services has been a challenge.
Well, I don't own a tractor myself. I have to ask people outside to help me. Though we have tractors at our place, but there are not many. So the men normally use the tractor. Then when they finish their farms, they come at the later time to plow for we, the women.
The women say support to help them boost production is always diverted to favor male farmers.
It is good, anything that they are to do, anything, the assignment or even any training, very important training like this, they should involve women. The women should always take part. It means their voices will never be heard at all.
Another drawback is the non-availability of soft loans. Women farmers want more attention to boost food production.
The West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACI, has launched its education fund. The fund will cover programs which will help increase crop productivity.
For 10 years, the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACI, has trained professional plant breeders in Africa. These trained hands work on improvement of African crops in local environment for farmers. Despite this, Africa spends $25 billion on importing staple crops annually. Ghana's staple food imports stand at $1.2 billion. This has been blamed on the low production of staple foods. The WACI Endowment Fund would provide facilities for plant breeders to come out with research findings on standardized seeds, which will increase productivity for crop farmers.
We are about to release 3 maize hybrids, which yield between 9 and 11 tons. When approved, these maize hybrid varieties will yield more than 2 times the maize varieties that we have in the country. So they will double yields in farmers' fields.
Since WACI's establishment in 2007, it has been funded by the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, in alliance with the University of Ghana and the Cornell University. With the launch of the Endowment Fund, other entities and organizations can support WACI with funding. The Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, assured of a $1 million support from the state as seed money for the $35 million target project.
The government of Ghana is committed to the aims and objectives of ACE project, which supports the participating universities to promote regional specialization in area quality training and applied research.
The endowment fund, which commemorates the 10th anniversary of WACI, will also greatly impact on food security in West Africa. From January 2018, the University of Ghana will absorb management costs to enhance the mobilization and management of resources.
And now to politics. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, turns 25 years this year. The party has ruled the country for 16 years, out of which 25 years following the return of civilian rule. Governance experts Dr. Lord Mawuko argues that the party deserves credit for contributions to governance in the country. Jonathan Adams has more.
The National Democratic Congress, NDC, was formed ahead of elections in 1992, in which Jerry John Rawlings was elected president. The NDC lost the presidency in the 2000 elections with Professor John Evans Atta Mills as the presidential candidate. But in 2008, it recaptured power with candidates Professor Mills and John Dramani Mahama as vice president. Professor John Evans Mills died after a short illness in 2012 while in office. John Dramani Mahama, his vice, was therefore sworn in as president. In 2012, the NDC elected John Mahama as their presidential candidate, with Pakwesi Emisa Atta as his vice. With barely 5 months of vigorous campaign, John Mahama retained the seat for the party. But the NDC lost the 2016 elections to the ruling New Patriotic Party, NPP. Dr. Mawuko Yevoga is a senior lecturer at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, School of Public Service and Governance.
If you're talking about the totality of the current constitutional rule, you cannot but to acknowledge that whatever credit that we're giving to ourselves as a new democracy within the African context, that the NDC, having ushered the country to democracy and having held power for 16 years, within the period, then they deserve some credit for that.
He argues that the NDC has not been able to champion a clear ideology for the past 25 years.
If the NPP is implementing, let's say, structure adjustment or market-oriented neoliberal policies, some of us who study these things will not be surprised because they have not hidden the fact that that's what they believe in. Now, if the NDC goes to implement the same policy and they turn around to say they are a social democratic party, then some of us will have problems.
Currently, the NDC has formed a 13-member committee chaired by Professor Kwesi Bochwe to investigate the cause of the party's defeat. The committee is expected to present its report later this month. The party says it is devising ways to recapture power in 2020 as it marks 25 years of existence.
We have more. You're still watching Midday Live. Thanks for staying. Residents at La have become vulnerable to possible disaster due to the state of the La Beach Towers project, which is stalled for 2 years. Now, they lament should the building collapse, it will cause a seismic trauma which may permanently damage other buildings in the area.
Construction of the towers located adjacent La Palm Royal Beach Hotel at La in Accra began in 2011. When completed, it will be a seafront gated community. The original date for completion was scheduled for 2015, but 2 years on, this is yet to be done. Several stories have been bandied around about the cause of the delay. These include a litigation between the contractors and the La Traditional Authority. Residents close to the building have raised concerns to the owners, but these have fallen on deaf ears. They complain about serious structural defects in the building, putting both lives and property at risk. The residents are calling for immediate intervention by the appropriate authorities.
There's a very high salt content in the breeze and things deteriorate very fast if they are not secured. Some measures need to be taken to secure this building from the elements to make sure that the surroundings are safe.
Checks at the La Dadekotopon Municipal Assembly indicates the project began before the assembly broke away from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. The authorities believe the AMA will be in possession of. So information available to us from the La Dadekotopon Municipal Assembly indicates that owners of the La Beach Towers are yet to produce permit on the building after the assembly wrote to them a year ago. Until this is done, the project, which was originally scheduled to be completed in 2015, will still hang on. Michael Addo reporting for TV3.
The president of Rivers, that's Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies, Anajumo Sapong, has urged governments to muster the political will to fight illegal mining. He has also charged security agencies assigned to the task to work diligently to ensure the fight against illegal mining is sustained.
Galamsey is currently the biggest challenge facing efforts to ensuring a sustainable environment. The Lands Commission Act 767 was enacted to promote the judicious use of land. It is also to ensure that land use is in accordance with sustainable principles and maintenance of a sound ecosystem. However, activities of small-scale and illegal miners, popularly referred to as Galamsey, pose a threat to a sustainable environment. Government has stepped up security operations to stop Galamsey activities, which is destroying lands and water bodies. A recent clampdown saw a number of Chinese nationals and other foreigners arrested. A number of concerns have been raised from various quarters about illegal mining activities in the country. The president of Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies, Anajumo Sapong, has urged government to master the political will to fight the menace.
It is important for the government that if they want to achieve their aim and their policies and their agenda, this thing, destruction of land and water, should be stopped. If not, they cannot do it. What they intend to do will be sustainable thing, but what we are doing now in terms of illegal mining is unsustainable.
He charged security agencies to be up and doing to ensure the fight against illegal mining is sustained.
Democracy is the rule of law. If we don't enforce laws, we are not in a democratic rule. Laws must be enforced on anything, destruction of environment, anything. They let them. Those enforcers should not come and blame people. They should not be apportioning blame. They are supposed to do their work.
He was emphatic more needs to be done to ensure mining activities are carried out responsibly.
And the Colombian ambassador to Ghana, Claudia Tebe Quintero, says the Colombian government will support the West African sub-region in fighting drug trafficking and promote security in the sub-region. At an international seminar on strengthening capacities on integral security, she said Colombia would transfer its security experience onto West African countries.
Violence, conflict, drug trafficking, piracy, extremism, and other emerging threats have raised concerns over the future of the West African sub-region. Irrespective of these developments, efforts to curb these threats are also improving. At an international seminar for the strengthening of capacities on integral security through the cooperation with Colombia and Africa, some security personnel and experts from 10 West African countries have been trained in various security and drug trafficking intelligence. The Colombian ambassador to Ghana, Claudia Tebe Quintero, stressed Colombia will make available its experience to the West African sub-region.
Colombia has a long experience. The fight that we had against drug dealers, the fight with the permanent situation with the terrorism. So we are able to trespass our experience.
The National Security Minister Albert Kandapa said public sector corruption and unemployment are major security threats in the sub-region.
When you look at these new challenges that we have, you find that the police officer is at the center of it all. If you want to fight terrorism, a key institution that you need to assist in that fight is the police force. If you want to attack cybercrime, we cannot do that without the police.
Participants were taken through experience of Colombia in the fight against world drug problem, transitional organized crime, and other topical security issues.
And on medical notes this afternoon, pregnancy school coordinator and director of the Dabakasa Metro, Dr. Efo Asante, gives us insight into danger signs in pregnancy.
Pregnancy can be fatal for the mother and fatal for the baby, or fatal for both if things are not done well. And because I'm thinking the 3 delays in accessing healthcare, there's a first delay to decide to go, and the second delay to get there, and the third delay is getting quality healthcare in the facility. So basically, when you are pregnant, we educate you, we prepare you, we give you interventions to help you reduce the first delay, that is deciding to seek healthcare, the second delay, getting there, and the third delay. So what happens in pregnancy is that you go for antenatal care. And antenatal care, we have focused antenatal care, where it's the midwife and the client. It's not the patient, it's not sick, it's the client. So he attends to you, and then we render certain services to you. There's a screening side, and there's intervention side, and there's assessment. In the screening side, we look at your blood to check your HB, looking at your sickling status. Why do we do all that? We do the HB to make sure that your blood level is okay, so that when you are bleeding, which will automatically happen in labor, you'll still be fine. Then we do your blood group to find out, which group are you in, so that we need blood. What do? We realize that when you are mentioning blood group, you say A positive, B negative. The positive and negative is something we call rhesus factor. So we are A positive, we are A rhesus positive. Why do we want that one? We want that one because if we know when you have rhesus positive and your husband is negative and you have a first baby, you produce antibodies waiting for the next baby to harm the baby. So and there are drugs we can give to prevent that. So everything we are doing in antenatal is picking the situation early and giving you the remedies. For instance, hepatitis B, we know what to give you. Everything we pick, even when you are HIV positive, it doesn't mean that your life has ended. We put you on ARV, the drugs to help you stay alive and be okay, and also give you drugs to reduce your viral load so that the baby doesn't get it.
So do join us for more on Medical Notes next week, Saturday. But next, we have business. Thanks for staying. An energy expert wants cheap electricity as a short to medium-term solution to energy crisis. According to the Chief Executive Officer of Quant's Building Solutions, Kofi Anoche, the one district, one factory concept of the NPP administration can only be achieved if cheap sources of electricity are available.
Kofi Anoche wants recycling of the water from the Akosombo Dam to enable the facility have water all year round. He suggested low water volumes has resulted in load shedding and said this can be ended if government invests in redesigning of the dam. He explained that water that goes past the turbines can be brought back through technology and rechanneled into the turbines by the installation of pumps, which will ensure the water does not go to waste.
You can even use solar energy to power some of these pumps and then pump them up to make sure that you get your energy or you get the water in there. So it's a very simple technology which the world must look at, and I believe others are doing it.
He also proposed the installation of a system that will pump water from the lower end of the dam to the upper end. According to his estimation, a maximum of 15 to 20% of the power generated will be used by these pumps, but will ensure adequate water for generation.
Let us renew the lost energy which is gone through the turbines. Let us bring it up. Recycling of water to generate energy or electricity is a renewable form of energy.
He argued that during the dry season, when low levels of water are normally recorded, the pumps can then be switched on so that the water is used efficiently to ensure energy sustainability.
Has suggested empowerment of small and medium-scale enterprises is key to addressing unemployment. Meanwhile, sustaining the recent buoyancy within the economy has also been cited as one of the ways to create wealth and jobs.
Government says its priority is to build the most business-friendly and people-friendly economy in Africa. This is expected to create jobs and bring prosperity to all Ghanaians. The 2017 budget has rolled out ambitious programs including the One District, One Factory, One Village, One Dam, Planting for Food and Jobs programs to help give impetus to efforts to address the unemployment challenge in the country. Speaking on the sidelines of the Ghana Economic Forum, Chief Executive Officer of Delex Finance, Ken Thompson, says small and medium-scale enterprises need the necessary support to grow and impact the economy.
A company like Delex, in the last 4 years, in very difficult economic times, when the economy was actually been going down, we've actually doubled in size every year. We've grown from 110 people to over 2,000 people. So there's a lot of knowledge that we have that we need to share. And the youth is the future of this country. We need to empower the youth. We need to give them knowledge. And the private sector is the engine of growth.
48% of Ghanaians between the ages of 15 and 24 do not have jobs, according to a new report by the World Bank on unemployment in Ghana. The chief executive of HFC Bank, Robert Lehant, says the policy direction of government will take time to mature and achieve results.
Since the election, there's been an increased buoyancy in the economy, and therefore the statements that are being made by the government from increased private sector involvement and so forth have been well received by the private sector. So we have been seeing an upsurge in people with their proposals coming to the bank.
Government says the 2017 budget is expected to focus on stimulating growth and job creation through empowering the private sector.
And it's time for sports. That's all for business. Kujafre is standing by. Do stay.
To every story, there's a deeper meaning, a host of angles, which, when reported with the highest ethics of journalism, bring out the perspectives that matters most to you. That's what News 360 is all about. I seek to climb higher, dig deeper, and go further to bring you 360 degrees of the news and what happens thereafter. I'm Natalie Fort. Join me on News 360 every weekday at 7 p.m.
Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable. Credible and breaking news. All at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? Super finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Midday Live here on TV3. My name is Anako Jafre with all the sports updates for you. Let's get into the details and we begin with the Black Stars, where the team continued their campaign in Kumasi on Friday after paying a courtesy call on Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II. The players are preparing for their 2019 AFCON qualifier against Ethiopia on Sunday. The Ashanti King tasked the Black Stars to win on Sunday and ultimately make it to the tournament in Cameroon with only one view: to bring back the cup home. Deputy Minister of Youth and Sport, Payod Hazaze, was also present.
Mo Bobby Waha, Mufiti as a limit me and Sakra and Mushe. Way and Sumoya. Ye fiti as a near the Africa Cup. Moshame Bosse and Conco Suquem, Yabaka Cup.
We are just about beginning our journey to winning AFCON 2019. We have come close to the cup on several instances. The country today is a trophy-hungry country. Your Majesty, you have not seen or held a trophy in your dear hands for a long time. And we at the ministry are well aware that your hands, your fingers are itching to touch a trophy. The journey to bring a trophy to you, Your Highness, to hold and to cherish is beginning on Sunday as we play Ethiopia. Like the FA President said, in their wisdom, they recommended that we play the match in Kumasi, and the ministry agrees. We therefore have to come to you as the overlord, the landlord, the political, the spiritual, the economic, and even the social leader to officially ask permission and your blessing.
And in the Ghana Premier League, Accra Hearts-of-Oak produced a strong showing on their return to the Accra Sports Stadium to win 4-0 against a sorry-looking Bolga All-Stars team who look like they will be relegated this season. Kwame Kizito opened the scoring on the 26th minute after a loss of concentration in the 18-yard of the away team. It did not take long before Vincent Atinga stepped up to take the spot kick at the death of halftime to make it 2-0 for the Phobians. The second half was definitely a stroll in the park for Hearts-of-Oak, who had Kwame Kizito scoring a second on the day to make it 3-0 before Vincent Atinga stepped up to make it 4-0 and a comfortable lead for them. Coach of the side, Frank Natal, says the Phobians will try to challenge for the trophy.
Games. We've won 8, drawn 3, lost 1. So let's get things in perspective. I've said that since I came here. We will try to do our best. Nothing changes.
Still on the Ghana Premier League. In Friday's Ghana Premier League fixtures, after Hearts thrashed Bolga All-Stars, Inter Allies once again proved their superiority at home when they inflicted a 2-0 defeat on Elmina Sharks at the Elwak Sports Stadium. Ebuswan Dwell's midfielder Stephen Bentel's goal secured a 1-0 victory over Bechem United at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. At the Karl Randolph Park, Liberty Professionals and Wafa played out a goalless and an eventful stalemate in Week 18 of the Ghana Premier League. We all know that the game between Great Olympics and Tama Youth will be played later today, and the Diana Stars versus Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be played on Monday.